What's going on, everybody? It is your boy Chris, man. We are here at the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. It is Thursday, January 30th, 2025. My name is Chris. I am a freelance sports reporter based out of Minnesota here and proprietor of this podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder, where I bring individuals on to talk about their why and get to know them outside of their occupation. I got a special guest that's going to be coming on with me today. Her name is Valerie Holland. She is affiliated with the Houston Dynamo and Dash, which is the women and men's soccer team of the city of Houston. We're going to talk to her about her why of getting into sports, and also we're going to get to know her outside of her occupation. So, without any further ado, I introduce you the wonderful and the talented Valerie. Good evening, Valerie. How are we doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
We're doing good, doing good. I'm glad that we finally got together. You look absolutely wonderful today. Just want to let you know.
9 p.m., but I've literally been sitting at my kitchen counter working since I got home at 5, and I was like, oh, well, this just passed the time perfectly. So,
Absolutely. I'm with you on that. Totally with you on that. I want to say thank you for coming on to my podcast, Work Hard, Play Harder. And I want to ask you, how is your week going so far?
it's been a busy one. We've had a lot going on, getting ready for the season to kick off, and so it has been a little bit of a roller coaster of a bunch of different things and trying to combine in some normal work activities.
Absolutely. I could just imagine. Could just imagine. I want to reiterate to you, Valerie, before I start peppering you with all these questions on why I wanted to have you on here in the first place. Now, I know you're obviously affiliated with the Dash and Dynamo, which for people that will watch this, those are the men's and women's soccer team of the city of Houston. I know you're involved with their charitable foundations going on, but and I just want to. I love talking to people that are in sports. I'm a sports journalist myself, so I love sports with a passion. You love sports with a passion. You came over from Denver, Colorado, in the Cronky, working in that sports realm as well. So you've been with sports for quite some time. So I want to know your story, your why. It's a rarity that we sit down and we get to have these kind of conversations because, like you said, you're always busy getting ready for the season, and it seems like the off season is even more busy than in season at times. So
That's true.
it's very, very to me beneficial to be able to network with different people that doing different occupations, but also learn about their story about how they came in. So, Valerie, my first question to you is the same as it always is with every guest. What is your why? Why do you do what you do? Did you have any role models in the sports field growing up? What ultimately led to a decision for you to become involved with sports?
So honestly, I sort of fell into it by accident. I had spent my entire life growing up wanting to be a teacher.
Okay.
I went all through college, getting a degree in business with an emphasis in secondary education, so to teach high school students. The last thing I needed for my degree was to get an internship as a part of my business degree. I had some friends that said, if you go and throw t-shirts at the Denver Nuggets games, the business school will count that as an internship. I said, great, I like basketball. I can throw a t-shirt maybe to the first row, but that's fine. I'll go ahead and apply for this. I didn't get that internship. Instead, the community relations department called me and said they wanted to interview me. I was a little hesitant. I wasn't really passionate about working with young kids. I loved working with older kids, hence with high school, but the opportunity was there. I needed the internship. I took it.
Sure.
Within 3 weeks of that internship, I fell in love with it. The ability to combine my passion of working with kids and my love of sports was something that was phenomenal and fun to watch. And just watching their faces light up with the smallest activities or things that we would do became inspiring. So I said, let me try this out for a year or two, and then I'll go back to teaching. And I am entering my 20th season in sports. Never have looked back, never regretted it for a day. I think my why is because I have been able to find a way where I can make an impact on kids in a way that's different, in a way that's fun. It's not boring, and it's just sort of something unique and different. Um, So I had kind of a bumpy path to get into community relations after my internship in that department. I went on to do the ticket sales world and the ticket service world,
Yeah.
just to stay within the organization. And, I will never sell tickets again. Bless people who can do that and have that as a skill, but it was not my
Sure.
skill.
Sure.
But it taught me a lot. I had never seen a hockey game in my life. I worked for the hockey team trying to sell tickets and learned the sport instantly. It's now one of my favorite sports. I love it. I was passionate about basketball. I got to learn about it, be a part of the Denver Nuggets and some of their fun, crazy eras. Obviously, not when they were winning championships, but watching a lot of really good guys go through a bunch of teams that we had and seeing the good that they do in the community, from Chauncey Billups, Carmelo Anthony, some
Yeah.
of those guys, into the Avalanche, the years of Joe Sakic and Peter Forsberg and things like that, where, I saw them do great things in community. And then I had the opportunity to move into soccer, and I had played soccer as a kid. I'd grown up with friends that played soccer. And then I sort of fell in love with the players from the MLS and watching what they did and how they reacted with kids and seeing their faces light up and getting to be a part of a lot of really cool programs within the Rapids and other departments. And
Sure.
I did that for about 8 years. But working for 4 sports teams at one time is a lot. And so, I was ready for a little bit of a change, and had a friend that said, Houston has a job that's open. They don't really have a community relations department. Maybe you could go down there and start one. And so I applied, and decided to pack up my life and moved to Houston about 11 years ago, 10 years ago now. And have loved it ever since. Helped to start the community relations department here and rebuild their charitable foundation, and really just learned this city. And I love this city now, and getting to do what I do here and seeing their faces, the faces of kids, and the impact that soccer has on this community is incredible. And we're about to be part of a World Cup, which is something that, most people can only dream of in the sports world.
Sure, absolutely, and great intro for that. I love that. I love your why, that's for sure. Now, are you a converted Houston Rockets fan? Because it seems like you grew up in the Colorado area, if I'm not mistaken.
I did. I was born and raised in Colorado. I will be a Nuggets fan through and through. I love the Nuggets. I just grew up with them. My family was a fan. The Rockets are great, and if they're not playing the Nuggets, I'll cheer for them if I go to a game. But if the Nuggets come to town, I'm cheering for Denver still.
Absolutely. I mean, obviously now the Rockets are getting pretty good. Denver just won the championship a couple years ago, so they're
Yep.
pretty good as well. So I just wanted to ask that question since you moved there. You've been there for over a decade, so I didn't know if you converted or not, but it
I
sounds like you did.
I have not converted. The only sport I've converted is obviously soccer. I am Dynamo through and through. But I still over cheer for all the other sports that are Denver based.
Okay, awesome. I love it. I love it. Now, you went to undergrad at Colorado State University. Obviously, I want to know, were there any other schools that could have persuaded you from going to Colorado State? Maybe that school over in Boulder could have persuaded
I knew that I didn't want to be a Boulder kid. I actually did my first 2 years at Northern Colorado because that's where my parents had gone. And so kind of tradition of that.
you.
But they ended up not being able to, or I couldn't finish my secondary education degree in business there. And so transferred to CSU. And actually loved it. It was, a unique experience. I think, I have a few regrets of that I didn't go out of state or that I didn't study abroad, but I don't regret, what the decisions I made. I had a great time in college and learned a
Sure.
lot and loved being in the state still. I went back to school a couple of years after I graduated, and I got my master's from the University of Colorado, but their
Yeah.
Denver campus, not their Boulder campus. So I did a little bit of both, but they're really, I didn't really look outside of Colorado. I knew I kind of wanted to stay in state. I was young and my friends were all going to one place, so kind of with that, but I really don't regret what I did for college. Just maybe, if I redid it, I would do something different of going out of state or something like that. But that's probably because I didn't have that experience.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Financially for me was definitely something I had to consider hard. I went to Kennesaw State University. Now I grew up in San Diego, but my mom relocated to Georgia. which is where I went to undergrad. I mean, looking back on it, Kennesaw State is great, but I definitely wish I would have went to probably Syracuse or better even journalistic type of school like that.
Yeah.
That would have been amazing to do for sure. But Kennesaw State was good, and I had a really really fun time in college for sure. So it was great.
That's all that
Um,
matters. Sometimes that's
that's
all that
all.
matters.
That is all. Trust, yes, indeed. That is all that matters, and
And
I definitely had a good time for sure.
yeah.
Valerie, I want to ask you some fun questions. You give me the
Okay.
411 based upon these questions, and we'll be ready to rock. So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Favorite meal you like to cook?
Steak. I'm not a big cooker, but I've learned to love to cook steak because it's something that I enjoy and it's not that hard.
No, no, it's not that hard. I am a terrible cook though. I'm not gonna lie to you. I don't know. Maybe that's just the sports journalist in me that, we work nights and evenings and weekends and when you get off late, you're getting off like 10 something, 11 something at night. I don't really want to get my ass up and cook anything when I get home. I just want to kind of relax. I kind of want to wind down. Maybe sometimes I have a little bit of Hennessy. Maybe sometimes I have a little bit of wine. That's just how I like to relax a little bit. So if I'm going to cook something, it has to be fast. So
Yep.
tacos for me is something that I truly do love for sure.
I'm a meal prepper too. So I learned to cook. My boyfriend and I learned to cook together. So I started being better at it. But yeah, not my thing totally. So
I totally understand that. That's awesome. Favorite concert you've ever attended?
oh my gosh. It's tied between two. The very first concert I ever went and saw was Boys to Men, with Montel Jordan and Mary J. Blige. Just
Okay.
phenomenal because it was my first concert ever and I loved Boys to Men. Uh, as I got older, I got to see Garth Brooks in concert, and I'm a huge country fan, and that was probably one of the most incredible shows I've ever seen.
Wow, I like that. You got some good music taste. No question about it.
They're diverse.
I love that. I love that. One of my favorite concerts was Alicia Keys.
Ooh.
Seeing her in performance in concert, she can play the hell out of that piano. She was great. She was amazing. So I really loved her concert. Um, Valerie, favorite place you've ever traveled to?
Um, I had the chance to go to Greece 2 summers ago. It
Mm,
was incredible. I absolutely loved it. I would go back there in a heartbeat. Just a beautiful, beautiful country, amazing food, fun people. So probably one of my favorite places to ever travel. If I had to stay in the continental US, it's Lake Powell, in Utah.
okay, got you on that. It's funny you said Greece because I am set up to go on a singles cruise to Greece this June.
Ooh.
Coming up.
Oh.
So I'm probably going to hit you up with some pointers on what to expect and different things of that nature. It's a week-long cruise, going with a very good friend of mine, and her name is Patricia Kara, who's actually setting up the singles cruise. She was actually on Deal or No Deal. She was with Howie Mandel. Yeah, so I'm going to be going
Nice.
on that. Yeah, so I'm gonna hit you up, and I cannot wait to try some of that Greek food.
Oh,
Uh,
so good.
is it gyro? I don't know how you say it,
Euro.
but
I think it's called a euro. I learned that
euro.
out there. They'll correct
Okay,
you. They'll tell you what it is.
I bet they would. There's no question about that. That's what's up. I like that. But yes, June is when I'm going to Greece as well, so I love that.
Amazing.
Favorite sport you like to watch on TV? Favorite sport you like to attend in person?
Favorite sport to watch on TV is basketball. Favorite sport to attend in person is hockey.
Okay, okay. Now Houston doesn't have a hockey team, so
No, we do not.
do you still cheer for the Avalanche?
I do still cheer for the Avalanche. I watch Avs games when I can, and I try and go when I go home.
Okay, okay. I'm with you on that. That's awesome. And yes, basketball is absolutely amazing. That's my favorite sport. I would say I would love to attend that in person, and on TV. For sure, it's football, football or college football. For sure, it's one of my favorites. I like that. Now, I'm a foodie, and I have a brother that lives there in Houston. I've been to Houston a couple times. Minute Maid Park is one of my favorite places that I've ever went. Their food game, concession game is crazy. I love it. No question about it. The Astros, y'all doing a hell of a job with y'all concessions. I just want to let y'all know. Great food. However, What restaurant should I go to the next time I touch down in Houston?
Oh my gosh. That's like asking someone to pick their favorite child. Um, the
That's fun. I like that.
uh, Ninfa's is an incredible Tex-Mex place that I like just truly love. Um, oh my gosh, there's so many good like Italian places, and I'm even trying to think just oh geez. I mean, I take everyone to Ninfa's because they want to try Tex-Mex. There's a couple of good barbecue places because my family loves to come out for barbecue. So
Sure.
we've gone
I'm
to a
with you on
couple
that.
different ones. Yeah, Truth. There's a Truth barbecue is really good. There is the Pit Room is incredible. So a couple of those. But yeah,
Ooh,
I
I
mean
think I went to that one, the pit room. Yeah, I think I went
yes.
there. Yes.
Yeah, there, and then you talk about Minute Maid. So I have to brag about us in our stadium for the last 2 years at Shell
Mhm.
Energy. We have embraced the local Houston restaurant culture, and so we've now put local Houston restaurants in our stadium as well. So same thing, kind of the Astros do. We've got Hugo's, which is a Tex-Mex place. We've got Roostar, which is a Vietnamese banh mi place. So just all these local places that are now like people don't have to go outside of the stadium to get some good food. Trill Burger, which is Bun B's hamburger place that no matter where you go in the city, in a stadium, you're standing in line. They're incredible burgers. So all of that is at our stadium as well, just trying to kind of put those local flares within the normal, concession food, which you don't really see many people in those lines. They're all at the restaurant lines.
Right, right. Now, I will tell you this quick story. So, I went down to visit my brother about a couple of years ago. You guys were having I believe, a sports career fair. It was you
Mhm.
typically you had this one in the fall, so it's like in September or
Mhm.
sometime. And I went down there for a sports career fair. See my brother. Saw a Dynamo game. It was really nice, really great. I forgot the food that I had, but it was some nachos. It was some nachos, and it was really good. I forgot what place it was, but y'all concessions is pretty good too, as
In
well.
there. And you came in September, which means it was probably still 100 degrees and hot at the Dynamo game because we have no roof, but it's okay. You made it through.
It was definitely hot. There's no question about it. And I was literally, I was like, man, and obviously when you go to a career fair, you dress up. So I was dressing up in my
Yes.
in my stuff. So I had to go back out to my car and had to relieve some clothes because I was like,
Yes.
it's pretty hot. It's like my goodness. Yeah, but it was still a cool experience because I hadn't yet to see the Dynamo, and I had just seen the Houston Astros play that particular visit that I visited my brother, and I just remember Minute Maid Park being very well air conditioned and cool and nice and
Yeah.
beautiful. So it was very nice, and the
A
food was
very different
good.
experience.
There's no question about it. But I do remember going to the Dynamo game and getting some nachos and sitting out there and watching it. And it was pretty fun. So that was awesome.
Nice.
I want to talk to you about your day to day. Obviously working with the team. I want to get a day to day operations for you for being off season because right now it is the off season as the season is about to gear up and start as we hit February. But also want to talk to you about your day to day in season. I'm sure it's pretty different um, in off season and in season. So talk to me about your day to day operations with both of those.
Yeah, as I'm sure most sports people tell you, that day to day is different every single day, which is also part of why I love this job and this career. So I really in the off season is a lot of planning. What are the programs we're going to run? When are we going to run them? Where are we going to run them? Let's get all of that set up.
Mhm.
What are we going to do for fundraising? So being in charge of Dynamo and Dash Charities, which is our charitable foundation, we have funding from various places, sponsors, events that we host. We have a golf tournament, an end of year gala, and then a lot of this stuff in between. And so for me, I spend the off season, which is about 2 months in MLS, planning and putting together what we're going to do for the next season. Right now, when we're about, a couple, 2, 3 weeks out from our home opener, it's crunch time. The guys are back in town. The girls have come back in town as well. And so we're trying to get everything prepared for that. So this week we spent the first 2 days, Monday and Tuesday, all day doing internal content days. So filming what is our intro video, interviewing the players, taking photos of them in their jerseys. I sit down and I interview players during that time and ask them, what are you interested in? What do you want to do in the community? So that we can make sure that we're putting them in the best position. If they love doing clinics with kids, we're doing that. If they love the hospital visits, we're doing that. So now I'm taking all of that information and kind of picking who is going to go where when we do these events. Once the season kicks off, we're just in full swing of running our activities. So we have a spring season, a summer season, and a fall season from all of the programming that we have. So, while we're in the middle of the spring season and activating everything, we're planning the summer season. In the summer season, we're planning the fall. And so it's pretty cyclical, but it's going and going and going all the time. And then in Houston, throw in something random happening, hurricane, windstorm, something like that. And we're boots on the ground preparing for that stuff. So it's a lot of those things. I meet with our board monthly just to inform them, what we've got going on, what more can we do. So, a lot of my job is talking to people, meeting people, networking, and then getting our events and activations off the ground with my team, which is 2 people. So I have a full-time employee and an intern that help me. They're incredible, but we are a small show that does a lot. And so it's busy all the time for us, but we find the time to take to ourselves when we need to as well, because you can't go 100 miles an hour 100% of the time. Is what I've learned over the years.
Absolutely. That causes burnout to be able
It
to do that.
does.
No question. Now, that was why I said wow, because I'm like, okay, you must have like a squad of like 8 to 10 people. You said 2. I was like, holy crap. But you guys are
Yeah.
working hard. And you know what, Valerie, people really don't know that, right? They don't know that behind the scenes stuff, right?
Yeah.
They see the job title, they see you out in front, they see you doing your thing, but they don't know like how much you actually got to do in order to do that, which is amazing that you explained that. But it's a great segue too, because I just mentioned it, right? It's about mental health and work-life balance, right? You can't go 100 miles per hour and not take time for yourself, right? Mental health is so important. It's being talked about more,
Yep.
especially in our sporting industry. I want to know, how do you maintain good mental health and also work-life balance? Like you said, you're a daughter, you got friends, you got a boyfriend as well, as you mentioned before. Like, but you also need some Valerie time too. Like, how do you be able to balance that and still be able to do your job without experiencing that burnout? Because you just said it. You only get 2 months off in the off season in a 10-month MLS season.
Yep. It's something that I've learned over the years. I think when I was younger, and in my 20s, and I missed a lot of things. I said work was so important. I didn't go to family reunions and friends' weddings because I was like, work, work, work. And as I look back, I realized, that built my career. It did those things, but I started to slow down a little and say, I need to enjoy this too. Like I need to take in the moments and I need to breathe and I need to see what's happening. And I would find myself, like I said, after 8 years with Cronky and 4 teams, I felt that burnout coming and I knew I needed kind of a switch. And so, changing teams, it didn't necessarily slow it down that much, but I started to take time and say, I need to do these things. I need to go to these events, these weddings, these reunions. They're a part of my life. And if I miss one game and the whole community relations department collapses, it means I haven't done my job. It means that I haven't set other people up for success, that we haven't been preparing for these the way we should. And so, I can remember that first game I took off, I waited for my phone to ring when I was at a wedding and was like, they're going to call. I know they're going to call. Nobody called. Nothing happened. The world spun around. The game went on. Everything was great. When I came back, they're like, that was awesome. Thanks for your help. And so I started to realize I can do that and I can take my time. And, 2 years ago, I mentioned I went to Greece. Well, it was part of a 19-day trip that I took for my 40th birthday with some friends. It's something I had wanted to do my whole life. And we went France, Italy, and Greece. And I, went to request the time off and the HR department looked and they were like, in the 9 years you've been here, you've asked for 6 days of vacation. total. And they're like, so take your 19-day vacation. And again, nothing happened. The world spun around, the games went on, nothing, broke. And
Sure.
I took time off. And so, I was like, these are things that we need to do. And I still find myself at times kind of looking a little bit sometimes at younger employees, and I'm like, you should be grinding, you should do all these things, but I'm like, you shouldn't. I learned that I wish I wouldn't have maybe done it as much. So I can't look at you and I fault you for making the choices I should have made. Um, so I've learned to take those times. I come home some nights and my boyfriend will be off somewhere playing soccer or doing something else, and I'm like, that's fine. I have a woosah moment. I'm alone. I can relax. I can do what I need to.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, the Dynamo's great. They give us one work from home day a week if we want it. And so, I kind of take advantage of that to decompress during the season. When we have back-to-back weekend games, sometimes that day at home, work from home, is when I'm working or doing house activities. But I've learned to start taking that time and to really think about it and doing the things that I love, from traveling to reading to running to just doing whatever, to make sure that I kind of keep myself in a good position, mentally, physically, and just, overall, good well-being around me. And then the people that work for me, I want to make sure that they take time as well for themselves, and don't
Sure.
overdo it, because it is, MLS is and NWSL together are a grueling season. I thought, 40 games in the NBA and 40 games in the NHL was a lot, but I mean, their seasons are 9 months. You know what's happening. Soccer is like a year long. So it's a
It
lot.
is. No question, because with the NBA, obviously, with now with the in season tournament, they kind of built that in, and then with the MLS, you got all kind of tournaments, you got
Oh,
stoppages, you got to come back, you got to do this, you got U.S. Open Cups, you got the regular season. I
yeah.
love what you said, though. I really did. I love what you said about that, because when you are in your 20s, you are in grind mode. That's
Yeah.
just the typical mode that you are, because you're in go mode. You want to do everything, try everything. You also want to prove to the organization or whatever place that you're working that they made the right choice in
Yeah.
selecting you. As you do age and get into, now I'm in my 30s, later 30s now. So for me, I've been in this journalism thing for about 7 years. When I first started out, I was a late bloomer, late 20s. And I was like, okay, I kind of have a grip on what I want to do, but I really want to go hard. I want to learn as much as possible. But when you start getting into it more and more, you do slow down. You do realize, okay, maybe the world won't stop if I take this game off. I don't cover this game, or I don't cover this game, right? And you do realize that, hey, you start to prioritize things that are very important: family, friends, because your family gets older. You don't want to miss certain moments with them. You
Yeah.
don't want to miss certain moments with your friends and stuff like that. So I love what you said. And that's the reason why I do this podcast too, because sometimes, Valerie, there's a misconception that it's glamorous sometimes working with these teams, working in journalism, whether it's broadcast or print, and people don't know, excuse me, the behind the scenes. They don't know what you all have to endure in a season, or all have to endure in journalism. Like you said, you work through holidays. It's a year-long process. You don't get typical just vacations. You said 6 days off in 9 years. That's incredible. That's wow. That's really
It,
grinding and pushing.
it's special few moments, but yeah. And when you said, when you were talking about people think that this is glamorous, I mean, my friends were so excited when I was in Denver. They were going to Nuggets games and Avalanche games all the time for free.
Mhm.
I think when I left, they were more sad that their ticket connection stopped than they were that I actually was gone. But then they also saw the other side of it of, it's Thanksgiving and I'm having Thanksgiving early with my family and then turning around and racing to the stadium for a game. Here, the 4th of July, all my friends are like, we're going to go to a lake and do all this fun stuff. And I'm like, well, we've got a game,
Thank
so
you.
I'm going to be at
Yeah.
that. But it is glamorous too. I mean, there's a lot of great things. I've met some incredible people, some incredible athletes that none of my friends would get the chance to do, and I've got photos of me in really incredible experiences and memories that I'll take forever. Autographed memorabilia that at the time, just was like, okay, whatever, I have it. But now I look back and I'm like, those are some really cool things. So there are the perks, but you put in the sweat, blood, and tears for the, working in sports.
Absolutely.
And you figure it out, and it is worth it, I think. But yeah, and anybody that comes to work in sports, the first thing I tell them is, I'm like, this isn't easy, and it's going to be hard, and you're going to get tired, but you've got to figure out if this is what your passion and your love is. And if it isn't, that's totally fine. Let's find
Yep.
something for you that is.
Yep.
Because don't stick with this if it's not that, because it's going to affect how you do your job.
That's exactly a great point. And I tell a lot of people that there's an A side and a B side. You really
Mhm.
have to be decisive on whether or not you want to be with a sports team or in sports or whatever you do as far as a career in the sports industry field. Because if you are in half-ass mode with one foot in, one foot out, they'll weed you out. They'll weed
Yep.
you out. You will not be in this industry for long. You really got to be decisive on what you want to do, but you have to know everything as well, right? You cannot have that misconception. There's great things about this industry, and mind you, you wouldn't trade anything for your job. I wouldn't trade anything for mine because I love covering sports, talking to athletes, and doing my thing. You love being with the Houston Dynamo and Dash, and as we should, because there's a lot of beautiful things about this industry. But you really have to, well, again, be decisive on whether or not this is something for you. And if it's not, that's like you said, it's cool. It's cool if it's
Yeah.
not, but you have to be decisive.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. Now, great segue again, because what kind of advice would you give somebody? Right, you're working with an intern right now. There's probably interns in all different kind of departments within the team.
Mhm.
But what kind of advice would you give somebody that's a postgraduate or intern that wants to be doing a position that you're doing or doing a position with a sports team?
Yeah, I think the thing I always tell people is find your way in. Find your way in through internships, through networking. I tell my interns the same thing. I'm like, you work in my department right now in community relations, but this may not be what you want. This may have been what your passion was, what you thought, but you've seen some other things. I'm like, go and talk to other people, network with other people within this organization. Because sports is a lot about who you know sometimes and how you can get into that world. And if this isn't your passion and community relations isn't what you thought it was, and you find that something else is, go and have conversations with those people. If you are within an organization, the first time somebody hears from you should not be when they have a job opening. They should know who you are, and the job should come up, and you should say, hey, we
Absolutely.
started talking and I'm interested in that position. So I encourage my interns and even my employees, like, go and talk to other departments, see if there's something else you like. Um, this isn't the end all be all for everybody. And I was in ticket, like I said, I was in ticket sales and service for a while. I loved them, but I knew where my passion was and where I wanted to go. And I encourage people to do that. I think getting an internship is an easy way to get your foot in the door for an organization. And it doesn't mean you're staying with that organization, but you will meet people and you will network who can get you into other teams. The same thing, just for anybody that wants to, ticket sales is an easy way into any sports world.
It
Um,
is.
and it's a grind, but you learn a lot. Sales is a skill you can take anywhere. You will learn about a sport, you will learn about a team, because you have to talk about it all the time. So,
Right.
I think look for those opportunities. Don't, I went into this career too saying, I love basketball. I want to work in basketball. I only love the NBA. I just want to work in the NBA. To be fair, the NBA is probably the league I would never go back and work in. I would go back to hockey. I love soccer, but I learned that there was a different passion. I love to watch basketball. I don't love to do my job in the basketball world.
Yeah.
So don't think that there's only one answer for you, that, if you don't love soccer right now, it doesn't mean that you may not love working in soccer. And I found a lot of people that found that out for themselves too. They're like, I didn't think soccer would be my thing, but this is actually really cool. And there's people that are like, I thought I loved soccer and I don't. And you move on. So, but the biggest thing I think in the sports world is networking, talking to people, having conversations. If somebody sends me a message on LinkedIn, I hope my LinkedIn doesn't blow up now, and they ask for an interview or to have a conversation, I'm always happy to do it. And I'm happy to provide references for people that I've talked to or opportunities. I let people come shadow me all the time, or if they don't want my job, I try and connect them with other people to shadow too. But
That's
it's
amazing.
about taking that step and making that outreach.
Definitely, anytime that I'm in Houston, I might take you up on that. To be
Come
honest,
on down. I'd love to show you around.
absolutely, that'd be amazing. My first internship, it's funny you said ticket sales. My first internship was with the Knoxville Ice Bears. It was a minor league hockey team in Knoxville. And I went to an Atlanta Falcons career fair and, dressed up, showed my resume, all this, that, and the third. They called me, said, hey, we have some UT kids that might not come back. Chris, do you want to come down from Atlanta and help out? And I was so hungry, Valerie. I was like, yeah, I didn't even think about it. I was like, hell yeah, I want to do it. Now, mind you, Valerie, I didn't have a car. One. Two, I was like, I've never worked in hockey in my life ever, and I've never worked with tickets ever before either. But it was like game day operations. It wasn't just tickets. So I took a megabus where I paid $5 for a megabus to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning to get to Knoxville at 10. I would purchase a hotel. And if there was two games that weekend, I would stay overnight Friday, Saturday, and then head back Sunday, or head back late Saturday night to be back Sunday for work. If there was one night, then I would do either Friday or the Saturday. And when I went there, I would work in the ticket booth, and it just took me back when you said ticket sales. Ticket sales and will call is no joke. These people are it is bananas. It's bananas there. The
Yes.
calling, trying to get tickets right. People, if you gotta have patience to work in ticket sales. There's no question about it.
Yeah.
But also did that, but also did the fun zone too. So there was kids that were playing in the bounce house, and
God.
you know how kids get in the bounce house. So there was people. It was crazy, but it taught me a valuable lesson on what to do, how to do it, but also what I didn't want to do. I didn't want to do game day operations. I no
Yeah.
longer wanted to do that. But it was a great learning experience
Mhm.
doing that. But taking the mega bus there, I would take $5 trips there, $5 trips back, and I did it for every weekend for 3 months. So it was something that I really wanted to do. So I say that to say, ladies and gentlemen, young girls and boys, those that will watch this, if you are willing to do something, just go ahead and find a way to do it. I promise you, you'll be able to find a way to do it, but not just because you should do it, but you also learn about what you don't want to do in
Yep.
future references. And that's the only way you're going to find out whether or not this is a lane for you, is to try different things and do different things. So that's what I would say.
And I mean, that's commitment with the mega bus. I mean, I will tell you, the
Thank you.
employee that I hired and is my coordinator right now, I met him at a job fair a year and a half ago. He
Okay.
was shaking hands and asking to meet with people. And I said to him, the best way in is ticket sales or through our street team, which is like our game day operations team. He
Sure.
said, thank you for the advice. He became a part of our game day operations team. I remember the first game seeing him on the concourse, and he was like, thank you, Val, for telling me to do this. Like, this is just so great. I'm excited about it.
Sure.
For a year, and he became the rock star. He was the one that everyone knew would do what they needed him to do. He got
Yeah.
in with two of the other sports teams. He started learning. He did 50-50 sales with another team. And so when it came
Mm.
time to hire somebody, I literally just said, I know that I want Marcus. I know that Marcus has worked so hard. I know that he has taken the steps to do this. He's worked and asked to work every one of my events and things that I've done. He knows what we do. So I said, I want to hire him. He was basically the only candidate that I even looked at, because he had met me, he had had conversations with me, he took the advice that I had said, and then he kept in contact. And I'm like, this is amazing. The girl that is our intern, she's on a year-long internship with us. She applied to be an intern probably a year and a half ago. She was very quiet. We didn't hire her, but she came in and started becoming a 50-50 seller for us for 50-50 raffle.
Yeah.
And she learned to come out of her shell. And so when it came time to hire another intern, I said, you're great now. You can stay. You're here for a year. And now all I want to do is find her a full-time job working for me. So they took the steps. They did these small things. They found ways in, and they did whatever it took to get there. And I think that that's really the tale of sports. You'll find the kids that, there's people that fell into it and got, their dream job right away, but that's not most people's story in sports.
Absolutely not. I love that. Okay, that's what's up. Val, we are on, or now we're at the point, I should say, of the podcast where we're going to do a little interactive game called This or That. So it's an
Okay.
interactive game that I like to do with all my guests here on the Work Hard, Play Harder podcast. And it's pretty simple. I ask you some things and you get to choose this or that. So for the second time, Valerie, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, here we go. Do you like chicken?
Yes.
Okay, so between these two restaurants, which place would you rather eat chicken at? KFC or Popeyes?
KFC.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I like that. I like that. When it comes to chicken wings, which flavor would you rather have on the wing? Barbecue or lemon pepper?
Barbecue.
Okay. Do you like your wings wet or dry?
Wet.
Okay. Do you like your wings bone in or boneless?
I'm weird boneless.
Okay. Okay. No, listen, you are not weird. You stop that right now. You are not weird. Boneless means more meat. More meat is good. Now, do you eat it with a fork?
No,
Okay, so you still get grimy
I
and
still
dirty.
get in there.
I love that. I love that. Give you a wet wipe and you're gonna go to work. I love
That's
that.
all that
Okay.
matters.
All right now. I'm with you on that. Now these next four questions have to do with music concerts you rather attend. So here we go. The first one is which music concert would you rather go to? Would you rather see Kendrick Lamar or Drake?
Kendrick Lamar.
I like that. K Dot. I like that. Okay. Here we go. Which music concert would you rather go see? Carrie Underwood or Casey Musgraves?
Carrie Underwood.
Okay, I like that decisiveness. Here we go. Which music concert would you rather go see? Would you rather see Lady A or Zach Brown Band?
Oh, I don't like either of them very much, but Lady A, I guess.
Ooh, okay. Wow. All right. I got you
I
on that.
know.
I got you on that.
Zach
Yeah.
Brown is too jam band, and I'm not a jam band person.
Got you. Say less. Okay, so here we go. Last one for the music. Which music concert would you rather go to? Morgan Wallen or Luke Combs?
Luke Combs.
Okay, okay. You were very decisive on that one. I like that. I do. I like that. Now, which sport would you rather play? Badminton or bowling?
Bowling.
Are you a good bowler?
I'm decent. It's better than my hand-eye coordination for badminton, that's for sure.
Okay. Or do you need the bumpers? That's all I care about.
No, I don't need the bumpers.
Okay, well, see, you good. You in good spirits with me then. That's all right. I like that. I like that, Valerie. Okay. Which sport would you rather watch on TV? Football or baseball?
Football.
Okay. Are you a Broncos fan?
I am a Broncos fan.
God bless your heart.
It's been some rough years.
I understand. Well, that is the first thing that we're actually enemies on, Valerie, because I'm a Chargers fan.
Yeah, that's everybody has their downfalls. It's fine.
Listen, hey, well, you call it a downfall. I don't know if I would say that adjective about my team, but that's okay. That's all right. I'm with you on that. We're in the same division. I grew up in San Diego, so LT is my favorite player of all time. So yes, definitely Charger fan for sure. Okay. Do you like desserts?
I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna name four categories of desserts here. You got to choose one of these that you'll never eat again. Okay. So here we go.
Okay.
First one is ice cream. The second one is cookies. The third one is candy. The last one is cakes/pies. Which one are you getting rid of?
Probably candy.
You sure?
I'm sure. I like can go without candy, but I like cake and cupcakes and I love cookies. And I will eat
Okay.
ice cream anytime someone hands it to me. So, but candy, I could probably go without candy. Because you can
Okay.
get like the sweetness of candy and all three of those other things.
You sure can. Okay, so let me ask you, what is your favorite ice cream?
I love Rocky Road.
Wow. Okay. Fun fact here: never had Rocky Road,
Oh
Valerie. I
my
never had.
gosh.
No, no, I never
Get
had Rocky Road.
oh
I'm a chocolate chip cookie dough person and cookies and cream. So
Ooh,
those are
cookies
my
and cream is a good choice. Cookies and
yes.
cream is a decent choice.
Now, are you a potato chip person?
A little bit. I mean, I used to love chips as a kid, but now not as much.
Okay, so let me ask, I'm gonna do the same format as I did with
Okay.
desserts. I'm gonna throw four brands at you. You got to choose one of these to get rid of. So here we go.
All right.
First one is Lay's. The second one is Doritos. The third one is Pringles. The last one is Ruffles. Which one are you getting rid of?
Ruffles. I couldn't tell you. I mean, I ate Ruffles chips as a kid and I remember not liking them. Lay's has
Hmm.
lots of different flavors. So do all the other ones. And you
Oh,
never get rid of Doritos.
well, Lord, listen, you've been flawless all conversation long. We done found the flaw. We done found the flaw.
That's all
Lord have
right. I'll
mercy.
take it. If it's on potato chips, I'll take that one.
Well, listen, we can't be perfect. I mean, listen,
It's
you got
tough.
everything going for you, Val, but we just can't be perfect. Sour cream and cheddar Ruffles to me is the greatest chip ever.
Oh,
Are you a salt and vinegar person?
no.
Okay, so you
I
back in my
I
good.
think that's like what that's weird. That's I'm like you're licking no, it's no salt and vinegar.
Okay, so you're back in my good graces because that's the second
Okay.
worst chip ever made. No question
True.
about it.
True.
The first will be Funyuns. Whoever made Funyuns need to be slapped hard. I don't even know why they would even put them on the shelf. It doesn't
Oh
make any
my
sense
gosh.
because there's nothing
My
fun about it.
there is an entire group in my office that would shame you for saying that. They go
Yeah,
through Funyuns like they're candy.
boy, they need to look in the mirror and just they need to do something. They need to slap their reflection or something. I don't know what's going on with them, but what is going on? Because Funyuns is terrible, like
It's
Charles Barkley terrible. That's what it is.
oh,
Yeah,
it's
it's that
bad.
bad.
That's bad.
Yeah,
That's
that is
bad.
bad. When you have the urge to go into a grocery store and slap all the Funyuns off of the shelf, that's bad. And step on the bag, that's bad. That is god awful. That's what I want to do every time I go into a grocery
Oh
store.
my, that's impressive.
You know what I mean? So that's just my take on it. But you did very good on this or that. You was very decisive. So I love that,
Thank
Valerie. Thank you very much. Um, you talked about it before, but if there if it wasn't in sports, what career path would you have went down? Now you did say teacher. However, you didn't specialize what subject. So I would like to know what subject would you have taught in adolescence?
You know, I wanted to be a high school business teacher teaching marketing, keyboarding, those kinds of things, because I was a part of those clubs in high school and I loved them.
Mhm.
Um, Honestly, I'm not sure that I would have survived as a teacher now. See, I work with a lot of teachers and seeing how much it takes for them, I'm not sure that would have been something. I know now, like if I were to end my career in sports, I would not go become a teacher. Bless them for all they do and all the work that they put in. But now I want to be a flight attendant, something where I'm like, I'm out of here and traveling all the time.
Yeah,
But yeah, I had always wanted to be a teacher, between a business teacher or even a special ed teacher. Those were the two things I always thought I would do, and I don't do either of them now, but I work with, kids all the time. So I
I
did it
love
in a
it.
different way.
I do substitute teach at times,
Oh,
but
bless you.
I probably I don't know about being unless it's in a collegiate type of atmosphere. I think I would like to do college, maybe interviewing or journalism, something journalistic. I would
Yeah.
like to do it eventually because I am getting my master's this May. So I
Correct.
want to be able to do. Thank you so much. I want to be able to do something maybe like interviewing. I think that'd be a great class that I can do. I could definitely teach that. But theater would have probably been my thing. If I wouldn't have
Oh,
pursued sports, I definitely would love to be in theater on stage and plays, musicals, because I'm a huge musical buff. I love musicals to death for
so
sure. So, absolutely. I want to ask you about a top four,
okay.
maybe a top four of events that you have put on, or maybe games that you saw that was like, wow, this is could be a potential game of the month or season or something like that. What is the top 4 events that you have seen in your Houston Dynamo Dash career?
Oh my gosh. Game wise, there are two that come to mind. There was, or a couple, three, I guess. There was a game where we were playing FC Dallas, which is our rivals, and everybody was nervous. We had done really horribly the last season. They were coming in. It was like the first or second game of the year, and we didn't know what
Mhm.
was going to happen, and we just ripped them. It was like a 5-0 kind of score line. So that was
Oh,
kind of fun to
goodness.
see.
You
And
did
kind of
BTA
boosted
for
us for the
them.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah, they
That was
they
a
showed
that
out.
was a
So we're
yes, yeah, that was a BTA type of situation. Yeah.
yes, and we play FC Dallas for our first home opener this year too. So I'm hoping for a similar outcome.
Okay.
I actually have a really good friend that plays for FC Dallas now, so I apologize to him in advance for saying that, but I hope you get destroyed. The second would be winning, or excuse me, we won a game against Philadelphia in like the last second. Our young homegrown kid did a header into the goal, or excuse me, against the Galaxy, header into the goal, like as they blew the whistle. And
Right.
like that moment of watching it all just happen, and I was on the sideline of the field just screaming. I think those moments when you get those sort of buzzer beater seconds are incredible. Um, and then a third one is we've won the Open Cup twice. The first
Okay.
time that we won it was the first championship that I'd ever been a part of winning. And that's something really special that you work your whole life in sports, and sometimes even as a player and as an employee, you never see a championship.
Right.
And so that was my first one. We were fortunate that again, 2 years ago, we won Open Cup again in Miami, and our ownership team was amazing, and they flew the entire staff to Miami to watch that game. Messi didn't play, but that's fine. We won. It didn't matter. But getting to be a part of that and how that all happened again, and winning it at home and winning it away, were probably two really incredible moments that, again, you don't win a championship all the time. So getting to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and then my number one is kind of a selfish intake, but the first Boots and Suit celebration, which is our end of year gala that I put on by myself. It was the first time, that the organization had done something like that. They let me kind of take the reins and do it the way I wanted to. And it was a huge
Mhm.
success for us in year one. And that is a moment I'll always be proud of. Because it was really, I think, the moment that I was like, this is what I was always meant to do. And I finally am doing it and building it the way I want it.
I
And
love
so
it.
I'll always be proud of that from my perspective, that's outside of a game day thing.
I love that. That's amazing. So were you a part of the celebration of the championship? Did you like get poured on or stuff like that in the locker room or
The first one, we won at home, and I was a part of it. I was very close with that team and what we had done and what we had went through that season. It was a
Mhm.
weird situation. We were last in the league for regular season, and we won the Open Cup championship. And
Wow.
so it was a celebration with those guys, and it was, we knew that the season had been rough and hard, but we committed to that. And so there was, holding trophy with beer in my hair, moments with those guys, which it was a lot of fun, and it was a great experience, and one that, there are stories that I will tell, not on this podcast, for years to come, of what that experience was like. And the same in Miami. Miami, I was more in a working capacity, so it was on the field trying to get players' families to them and players in the right places for interviews, and it's not our stadium and no one knows what's happening. And our minority owner James Harden was there, and everybody's trying to get him on the. So it was just a lot, but it was cool. It was fun. We had won, and it was something that we had, we were really taking in. And so, um, those are great, yeah, celebration moments where you're just like at the end of it. And we got on the plane the end of that night in Miami, and everybody's celebrating on the plane, and I was like, I'm exhausted. I like don't know, but I can't fall asleep. But I so just we've been going for 15 hours, and I just want a nap.
Absolutely. I love that. And listen, maybe when I catch you in person, I might get a story or two offline where you can tell me about that. 'Cause I certainly would love to hear about that. That's always amazing. That's what's up. I love that.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this bonus question that came up in my mind, and that is, you seem like you work in an amazing department in the community relations and the outreach and what you do. Is there any other department though that's within the Dynamo or Dash that you're like, you know what, that would be pretty interesting to do that for like a day or a game or to run that? Have you been intrigued to look at any other department?
Oh my gosh. For a day, I
Yeah,
think the stuff that
like
our
for a game day experience, like for a game
for a
day
game
experience to be able to
for a
do.
game day experience, I think that the stuff that, I work hand in hand with our marketing department. And so I get to see a lot of what they do game to game. But I think the group that puts on our production from the marketing side, so what's happening throughout the game, how things are timed out, how the videos play. I
Mhm.
think that's pretty interesting. I think it's incredibly hard. The woman that runs that for us is incredibly talented. But I mean, I would love to try that at one point. Um,
Yeah,
but I think that I love what I do and I'm doing what I love, that those other departments are great, and seeing what they do for a day may be fun, but I don't think I would ever move to try something else.
yeah,
Because I
I feel
don't,
that.
I did the customer service thing. I love that because I'll talk to a wall if somebody will let me, and customer service is talking to people all day long. So I don't mind
Right.
that part, but
Mhm.
um, yeah, I know I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing.
I love that. I do. It's always interesting to anytime that you work in a sporting team to see different departments do different things. Obviously, if I was to work with a sporting team, which is I think would be amazing, I would definitely want to be in a community type of communicative type of role. That's
Yeah.
something I would want to do. I want to do something in the communication type of role, for sure. Because I love people. I love being engaging, and I just love being able to bring a great experience to anybody that comes to the park for that. So that's something that I
That's
would love.
the PR team. It's so much harder than you ever think. I had to help out once traveling and tried to write a like game recap, and to
Mhm.
use the words and figure out how to make scoring a goal sound interesting, or having a 0-0 game sound interesting, is a talent. So I mean,
I
kudos
would love
to
that.
you on the communication side, and the PR teams. They have the hardest job, and to try and interview players after a loss. I mean, they lose, I'm like, see you, go home. You have to ask
I
questions
love
like,
it.
what happened?
Yep, yep,
So
I love it. Like, what do you think you can do better?
yeah,
What happened at this minute? What happened at that minute? But it's a challenge, no question about it. But it's a
yeah,
challenge that we definitely thrive at because I love doing that. I love getting
yep,
inside the mindsets of the players, especially after the game, because that's where you have the freshest thoughts, whether they win or
yep,
lose, for sure.
yep,
I want to ask you about advice. What is
yeah.
something now we talked about advice you would give, but what advice has someone gave you that you hold on dearly to?
Um, I I don't even know who told me this, and it may actually probably have been my mother, but it's always to follow your passion and do what you love. I
Mm,
have lived by the mindset that you work your whole life and do something that you love and find that passion, and you'll never, they say you'll never work a day in your life if you do what you love, but
right,
um I have friends that make 3 times the amount of money that I do, but they hate going to their jobs every day. And I have
right.
done this for 20 years now. And there are days that are tough and there are days that are hard, but I love it. I love what I do. I love the impact that I make in the community. And so, everybody always just says to find your passion and find that love of what you do. And I think I've always listened to that. And just work hard. I have a quote that I've taken with me everywhere that I've worked, where it's, attitude is 90%, or 10% what happens and 90% how you react to it.
Sure.
And I
Yeah,
try and live by that, and think about that in the moments when I'm about to blow a gasket. I'm like, is it really that big? And how do I change and not, go nuts? I'm not telling you that I don't blow up sometimes, but like,
sure.
you really think about your attitude and how you're doing things, and it affects everybody around you. And I think, again, as I've gotten older, I realize that more, and I say that more to people because people are looking at me and looking up to me and what I'm doing because of the position that I'm in now. And so I really, I want to make sure that the way that, you react and you do things around people is important as well. And showing them that you love what you do
Absolutely.
and that you're passionate.
Absolutely. And obviously, you've been doing a hell of a job for the past 20 years in combination of Denver and Houston. And you obviously love what you do. You're obviously doing a great job, and people appreciate you in both of those spots that you've landed. I think the more you get older, the more calmer you get, in my
Yes,
opinion. You really just, it's kind of crazy to say, but I say that life kind of slows down
it
if
does.
people can only understand what I'm talking about, and you probably do, but I look at it in like a sports perspective. It's like, the more that you play a sport, the more years that you play, you just learn different things, and your IQ grows, and you get better and better. And it's the same way that I look at life. It's like it slows down for you. You understand, okay, you know what, you may run into this problem, but it's okay. You may run into that problem, but it's okay. Or
Yep.
you just enjoy things more. You just
Yeah.
appreciate things more. And
Yeah.
it's beautiful. It's so beautiful. It is. And people say, do you hate getting older? A lot of my kids in the class that I substitute teach, they call me old. And I'm like, that's fine.
It's
Maybe
fine.
one day, yes, maybe one day you'll get here. You'll get here. And I hope you do. I hope you do, because
Yep.
it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful
Yep.
thing to get to this age, because now I'm to the age where it's just so calm and peaceful, and I don't want to deal with a lot of noise, a lot of drama, a lot of this and that. I just want to come in and make other people's lives better, but also have a fun time doing it. So
Yep.
and I feel like that's what you do at your job.
It is. 100%.
I love that. I love that. Now, we're getting towards the end of the podcast. So, what I want to do, Valerie, is I want to ask you some rapid fire questions. So, the first
Okay.
thing that comes to your mind, I want you to just shout it out with glee. Okay. So, the
Okay.
last time I'm going to ask you, are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. So, here we go. Burgers or tacos?
Burgers.
Okay. Chicken or rice? Chicken or ribs?
Chicken.
Sorry, chicken or ribs.
Chicken.
Got you. Pancakes or waffles?
Pancakes.
What is your favorite color?
Yellow.
Wow, I think you're a first to said that. Okay, I like that though. Okay. Favorite Netflix TV show or the uh TV series on TV?
Oh, The Challenge on MTV. I'm obsessed. I've watched it forever.
Wow. Okay. Are you talking about like the road rules challenge and stuff like that?
Like,
Real
well,
world
now
road rules?
now it's just moved on. Now it's just called The Challenge, but it's like still the same people from Road Rules. They're as old as I am. So I feel like I've grown up with it.
Wow. Okay, I'm with you on
It's
that.
weird.
Favorite alcoholic drink?
Wine, white wine, Pinot Grigio.
Ooh, well, you got good taste. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. Favorite board game?
My gosh, Monopoly.
Yeah, yeah, Monopoly's pretty
Only if I
good.
get Broadway though in Park Place, I guess. If I'm not getting those, then I quit the games.
I'm about to say, oh hell no, I can't let you get both. I can't let you get both of them. That's gonna be crazy if you do. Um, Favorite card game.
Uno.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. Dominoes or spades.
Oh, I only know how to play dominoes. I don't
Okay,
know how to
I
play
got you.
spades.
Oh wow, that
I know.
I
I have
guess
some
I'm
lessons to learn.
about to say that's a cookout game, girl. You gotta go
I
when you go to the cookout, you gotta know how to play both of those. That's what I'm saying. All right,
I'm gonna
okay.
work on it. I mean, don't tell my boyfriend. He's from Barbados, so but we play Uno. So I feel like I've made it in that far.
Okay, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. If you had a choice to choose three artists or three songs that you can listen to on repeat and never get tired of, who would those three artists or three songs be?
Eric Church,
Okay,
um, Garth Brooks,
okay,
and Usher.
all right. Okay. Eric Church puts on a hell of a show, by the way. He
He
does.
is the only country artist that I'm obsessed with that I've never seen in concert. And I always have the rule, I'm like, I don't really won't pay for someone to see in concert unless I love them. And he is the only one I would still pay money to go and see. It just hasn't lined up to ever work.
I feel that you need to definitely.
I have to.
That when he comes on stage, first of all, the concert that I went to, I actually did security for it, did event security for it. He came to the concert. He brought out the bottle of whiskey that he normally does at every single show. He puts it at the end, and he says, "Do y'all want to go home?" Because they always tell him that you got to wrap it up because he puts on quite a show. Well,
Yeah.
at the venue, he says, the hell with that. I'm going to go more. So he always goes more. He says, I'll pay the fine. Don't worry about it. And he plays more songs. His show is really, really good. And I'm not a huge country person, Valerie, but his show, I pay to go see. No question about it.
That's what he was at Red Rocks in Colorado for like 2 nights and I missed it. And I've heard it was the greatest show ever. So, but thanks.
Well, I'm hoping he comes out there a little closer to you in Houston. I'm hoping
now
he
we'll
does.
hope so.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, if you had 3 people to take on a vacation, plus you, so it'd be a total of 4, who would those 3 people be and where would you go? Now, Valerie, you could choose friends, family, or celebrities.
Oh, I'm taking my mom. I'm taking my boyfriend, and I am taking my friend Amy with me. She's my travel buddy. She's who went to Greece and Italy with me, and I just know that we travel well. My mom is a hoot. She is fun anywhere she goes, and I love to go places with my boyfriend, obviously. So those and the 4 of us all together would be a wild, random time.
That sounds like it for sure. Now, where would you go?
Oh my gosh, that's the hard part. I don't know. I mean, somewhere with water, anywhere with water, that's where I'm the happiest.
Okay,
So
anywhere with
lakes,
water.
oceans, I don't care.
What about Barbados? Have you been to Barbados?
I have not been yet. I would love to go. I love the Caribbean, but I haven't been. I've been to Jamaica a couple times.
Yep, me
But
too.
yeah,
Yep.
I love water. I don't care if it's a lake, an ocean, or a river. If I'm near the water, I am so happy.
Got you. I'm with you on that. Okay, okay. Favorite sandwich?
Turkey with pepper jack cheese and bacon. So like a turkey club.
Turkey Club. I like that. Yeah, that's my favorite sandwich too. I like that. Last one for the rapid fire. If they came to you and said, Valerie, I only want you to cheer for one of these teams. That's it. I'm going to give you 4 teams.
Okay.
Denver Broncos, the Denver Nuggets, the Colorado Rockies, or the Avalanche. Which team are you cheering for if you only could cheer for one for the rest of your life?
The Avalanche.
Wow, I like that. I like that. Yeah, yeah. I do hope our Minnesota Wild team matches up with them though, because I think we can get them this year. I do think we can get them.
They're good. It's hockey is a sport. It's wild. It can flip in a second on where you are in the ranking. So I think that's what makes it fun. I mean, any sport really can. I'm not a baseball person. I could never work in baseball. I can't even watch baseball. I don't tell most people that I hate baseball. And the other ones, they're great, but I love hockey.
I love that. That's awesome. That is awesome. Valerie, this has been a very good conversation. Talking to me about your story, your why of how you came into the sports industry, your 2-decade plus career of working in Denver and in Houston as well. Obviously, you do tremendous work. Obviously, you have tremendous passion for what you do. And it's absolutely a pleasure to be able to talk to you about that. As I always do, with every guest that I have on here. My final question to you is there anything else that you would like to add about yourself, the job, or anything at all before we conclude?
No, I think, I love my job. I love what Dynamo and Dash charities and the Dynamo and Dash do in the community. And that I've had the greatest opportunity to work in a thing that I'm passionate about. And I hope that everybody who wants to have a career in sports can find that and can find their passion through this, because it is what you need to survive, and that the work that you do should bring a smile to your face every day. And even through the roughest days, you can think about those really good times and make it through. And, I wish the whole world could work in sports. I know that's not possible, but don't give
Sure.
up. I mean, I went through some trials and tribulations before I ever got a full-time job with Cronky, doing multiple like part-time things with them. So stick with it, stick it out, get in there when you can, and you'll find it and keep your way going.
Absolutely. Adversity is inevitable in this industry. There's no question about it, but it also hardens your character on how you deal with it and how you deal with those adverse situations and how you come out top of it. So I appreciate that. And I appreciate you. You enjoy the rest of your Thursday evening and the rest of the week. Valerie, you and I will be in touch. Thank you once again for coming on to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Have a good evening.